Just when they thought I was out, they pull me back in. Welcome back to Fog Football. The European Super League has re-emerged its head after it was ruled that it was unlawfully shut down between UEFA and FIFA all those years ago. I say all those years ago. I think it was like 3 years ago, maybe four. No, could it be four? No, I think it was 2021. Anyway, my throat is done. But let's talk about the European Super League because there's a new format announced, and there's a few new additions, teams that they've added. And why are we covering this when it's mainly Scottish football on this channel? Because I think the old firm are going to be getting an in fight. So let's go into it. So the controversial European Super League is set to relaunch with new tournament plans this morning after a landmark European Court of Justice. So before we read any more of this, Mark Goldbridge has tweeted about the teams that are in it. PSV, Feyenoord, Benfica, Porto, the Italian clubs Red Star and Anderlecht. They've accepted the new Super League. So he's responded by saying it'll need to be free if they think I'm watching PSV versus Anderlecht Premier League forever. But see, just look at like the English, bias here. Like all these comments, how is this a Super League when they have crap teams like that in it? But they seem to think if a team like Tottenham was in the Super League, like that's like a great team. Tottenham are a diddy club. Sorry to burst anyone's bubble, they've won nada. Same with Newcastle, right? Newcastle literally haven't won anything in about 60 odd years. PSV, massive club in Holland. Anderlecht, massive club in Belgium, and they're getting made fun of. These are the same delusional people that think Luton Town against Bournemouth is bigger than like El Clasico. They're honestly delusional. They're absolutely delusional, man. I just do not understand it in the slightest. Now here, you might prefer watching English Premier League football, but to the eye, I think two massive clubs in Europe going at it in a Super League, is better than two diddy teams for the English Premier League. Now, obviously, I prefer the concept that we currently have with just the leagues. I don't think a Super League should happen, right? But to try and make out that PSV versus Anderlecht or, Porto against Inter Milan or Benfica against AC Milan or whatever is poor, I think they need to sort themselves out. Like, I get it, I'm totally against the Super League, but to try and pretend that these big clubs going against each other is 100 times worse than Luton Town, Bournemouth, who else? Burnley against like fucking Diddy team film. Dead on. Why? Because that's brilliant. You know what I mean? Ridiculous. But the new format was acted unlawfully. It was back in 2021, so near enough will be 3 years once we get to the turn of the year. The UEFA monopoly is over. Football is free. La Liga released a statement condemning the Super League as a selfish and elitist model. The question is, though, Jesus Christ, man, throat is going. It is unclear how teams would be initially allocated into the leagues, only that in the initial year of the competition, clubs will be selected based upon an index of transparent, performance-based criteria. Once there, the bottom two from the top league would be replaced by the second-tier finalists. The same would be the case between the Gold and Blue leagues. While for the third tier, 20 of the 32 clubs will leave the competition altogether, replaced by those merited on domestic performances. But I don't think any of this is going to go ahead without the backing of Premier League teams. But going back to the old firm gimmick, and this video's needed to end, man, my foot is done. Anyway, if you can get like the likes of Anderlecht and Red Star Belgrade and these things, there is no excuse not to have the old firm in it. There is not. Like, we can't even talk about money anymore, right? Because the old firm do not make much less money than the likes of those teams. I mean, they make more money than Red Star Belgrade. I'll go on a limb and say, I mean, we talked about all the financial gulf between PSV and Rangers. There's not much in it, right? There's seriously not much in it. So the new European Super League, guys, it's coming back. Will it go through, though? Will the English snobbery die at the hands of this? Will Craig Levein get his wish? He wants the old firm to leave Scotland. Could they be leaving Scotland? Not for the English Premier League, but for the European Super League. Who knows, guys? But actually, that's another thing. A lot of people thought, well, if these teams do join the European Super League, they're going to actually, in fact, favour it over the current competition. Problem is, though, if Rangers and Celtic were in this European Super League, their B teams, like not like their literal B teams, but like a weakened team, they would still be top of the Scottish Premiership. It's not like the English Premier League where I think if the top six did join, like you've got the likes of like Newcastle and Aston Villa who would take it to those teams, even if they were fielding like a second string squad. So it'd be intriguing to see, and then maybe you'd get one of the old firm favouring the league over the Super League, even though, but then would they? Because the Super League's worth so much more money. All I know is I don't want it to happen, but you have to talk about it. It's out there, and it's looking more realer than ever. So until next time, peace.